Hey guys, today is my final update for the Nemesis Kickstarter. There are about 24 hours left at the time of posting this, though there's about 30-ish hours left at the time of recording, so I apologize if in that time frame there's something else that comes out that's not included here. That being said, what I'm about to talk about and what I'm about to show is pretty much it when it comes to that, unless there's a few curveballs or surprises. Where we're at is currently where we're at, and they've been very open about where they're going as well. So you can use this video as kind of either a reminder of, hey, this is about to end, so if I want to get on this Kickstarter, I should get into it now, whether that's a $1 pledge or more, or maybe, you know what, I don't like what I'm seeing, I need to pull out before it ends. Either way, and, you know, just about a day, everybody's credit card will be charged, whatever amount you have up there. So be sure to pay attention to what is currently available. Now, I'm only going to cover new items, though. I've made 2 other videos prior to this covering quite a lot about Nemesis, and that is, you know, gameplay and the Kickstarter campaign in and of itself. So you can refer to those if you need more information, or just follow the link in the description below to the actual Kickstarter itself. Okay, so last video I talked about the 20,000 backer reward that we were all going to get, and it's a comical first player token. So the options were either an intruder cat or what they're calling a catonaut, and the catonaut won. The concept art, it's even eating Cheetos in space, because why not? I think that's what cats would do in space. If you put a cat in space, I guarantee you it's going to have a Cheeto bag and it's going to be eating it. Prove me wrong. Anyway, so it's a little miniature guy. It's just kind of the only fun one, I guess you could say, that they're doing. They're not taking it, you know, that, I don't want to say immature. They're more serious, right? So I backed Chronicle X, and they were very much more kind of fun. That's in quotes when it comes to their kind of incentives. And so they have, like, one of their main miniatures is the guy holding the game itself as a miniature. I think that was for, like, voting on something or other. Anyway, so that is something everybody's going to get now, which is kind of cool. We're able to vote on it, but the chubbier one won, of course. So we will be getting the catonaut. Okay, so let's talk about where we're at with the Aftermath unlocks. So we did get a final android sculpt. You can see her on the screen now, and I must say I am digging the cloth affection. I don't know. Their detail on the different cloths that they're using, I really like. So, I mean, her hair's in a nice bun, and as long as that texture shows up pretty well, which they can get that texture doing just fine. So that'll look great and be really easy to paint up. But I'm looking mostly, if you look right now at, let's say, her sleeve and how it's kind of tucked, and that kind of gives you a very, you know, a certain kind of material. And then she's got, like, the scarf, which is maybe a different material. And then she has, like, this kind of wrap around kind of skirt thing with, like, these, like, kind of hexagonal pieces, almost like a honeycomb thing with the Nemesis on there, and then the trim. And just all of that together, especially with the kind of puffy or even poofy hexagons, I'm digging. And I'm going to talk about this even more on the other ones, but I'm really impressed with that. Now, she is mostly human. The only things you can tell that make her an android are her open arm and a little bit on the back of her neck by the looks of it, and very close to where her jawline ends near her neck. Other than that, she's pretty human, so kind of an interesting choice there, though I bet you could paint on a little symbol in the front there or something like that. Either way, really excited, and I like that it shows Nemesis on the clothing as well, so you can actually see that, you know, she works here, is assigned here, which is kind of cool. Okay, moving on to that, to the therapist, who was also completed. Now, the therapist, again, has very interesting attire, and not in the, you know, I need to start a BGG article about how I dislike them, but actually otherwise. So she's, again, got this kind of cloth material, and then she's got, like, this cape. But then if you look on the side here, she has, like, this kind of pant material with then, like, this kind of ribbed, thicker part. And then there's, like, that honeycomb thing, but instead of being puffed up, it's like a mesh, right? And almost see-through. Now, why that's there, I don't know, whatever. But it's very cool looking, and I like it. And then she has kind of a belt, and then she has, like, this kind of armor-mounted back and shoulder piece with, like, this little, I'm assuming some kind of, you know, a medical device on her shoulder. And again, another different hairstyle, and just, I really like this in general. Now, how her hand holding the pin is going to turn out, I don't know in the actual model. These are all 3D representations, but either way, really liking the design of these miniatures, like a lot more than I thought I would. Next up is the Convict. Now, the Convict he's definitely going for like this, Joker from Suicide Squad kind of thing. He's got like Thug Life tattooed on his body. But thankfully, that's not going to show up on the miniature, right? So you'd have to paint that on. So that's just kind of a general aesthetic style that they're doing. But he's definitely seen better days. He's this nasty dude that's, will break out at any moment he feels like it. And that's kind of cool. Moving on to the Bounty Hunter. Now, the Bounty Hunter is still being finalized. We haven't gotten, at the time of recording, the final say-so on it. But it looks like no matter what, he's going to have a dog. And that's awesome. Everybody loves a dog. Dogs are cool. It fits with the Bounty Hunter theme. I approve, and it sounds like it'll be 2 separate miniatures. They talk about being able to have the dog go scout and find things, or maybe guard somewhere, or something separate from your unit. So that's really interesting, and there's a lot to be done there. I was wondering because twice now, I think they showed it on the Android in some of the concept art, and they showed it in like the final concept art for the Therapist, where they had like a little drone. So I think they've been playing around with this idea of something that is a part of the player, but is a separate unit that could be moved separately or perhaps do different things. So that's kind of cool. And lastly, right now we're currently voting for like the first vote on the CEO/agent/lawyer person. Again, there's a swath of information there, or different options that you can pick from and choose. And you can just comment in the Kickstarter article there and say which one you want. Normally they put a vote on Facebook as well, and I'm assuming they count it all and track it all. But either way, looking pretty cool. So that gives us 5 different people, right? That is the Aftermath. So you'll have the Android, the Therapist, the Convict, the Bounty Hunter, and the Suit. Whether that's a CEO, agent, or lawyer, I don't know. Right now, it's all slashes. Okay, other stretch goals. Now that Aftermath has been their focus, but they do have others, but just a small one. So we unlocked some plastic tokens for both fire and malfunctions that you can put like on the rooms. And the fire specifically, I really like because it's kind of smoky, and I think that's really nice as opposed to just doing a marbled red or something like that, which would have been a little bit easier, but I like the smokiness in that one. We also got a kind of a designer update. Now this was essentially written to reassure and gain trust that objective cards are balanced in the game itself and not each other. And what I mean by that is a lot of people were bringing up that you could take 2 objective cards, put them side by side, and say, this one's easier, right? And what they're saying is, in practice, in the actual game, with all the game mechanics at play and all the different players at play, that they are as balanced as they can get them and keep them fun. And so they can make them all balanced by making them all essentially the same, but that sameness ends up being kind of bland, and they want each one to be unique and exciting as well. And so, in general, they're all very balanced in the actual game, and that is, according to them, on a lot of playtesting. Now, that being said, and you know what? I believe them. I haven't played it, I haven't even read the rules, or I haven't printed it out and played it, or anything like that. But from what I see, that looks good, and I don't really have a problem with some slight variation in my games, or I'd play nothing but deterministic Euro games, and this is not that, so I don't know what you would really be expecting either. It's not like you're rolling dice, and it's the look of the dice, so it could be a lot worse too. That being said, there was no mention of solo play, and my understanding is that can be hit or miss, because you don't have a lot of those other mechanics that would prevent them, and you don't have the other players that, maybe I have to repair the engines, but so do you, so that helps, right? You don't really get that in that solo. So this leads me to think perhaps the solo is you can, but really it's play tested and best with, right? So each board game typically, it'll range like, let's say 2 to 4 or 1 to 5 or whatever. But then there'll be it really plays best with 3 or really plays best with 5 or something like that. This one, it sounds like the more the merrier, though the more you get, then you get into the trouble of how much downtime you have. So, it might be kind of an in-between there. Maybe it's 3 or 4 is where this is best at. Not sure. We'll have to find out when we get it, I suppose. And lastly, there is a new backing level. There is an intruder pledge, which is essentially their all-in pledge. It states 188. At the time of filming, it was actually 185 when converted to USD. Either way, it's essentially the captain's pledge plus the comic and the Carnomorphs expansion. Now, I was getting all those anyway, so I swapped, saved a couple bucks. It's not a huge difference in price. That being said, the fact that the all-in pledge is sub $200 is awesome for a Kickstarter, and I'm really, really happy about that. It's very easy for them to just keep throwing stuff, and let's all be honest, with how good of a campaign they've been running and how much hype is behind this game, they could announce another expansion pack with another alien race right now and just put up a whole bunch of 3D models or even concept art and say, we'll figure it out later. Not even have an idea really of how it would work that well, and people would still buy it. So the fact that they're not, I really like. So kudos to them for that, both Rebel and Awaken Realms. But really, guys, that's it. It's been so focused on the Aftermath unlock, and then just talking about the game itself and like the designer update, and they've done some AMAs and stuff like that, I don't know, I'm actually kind of impressed because it's so focused that it's really easy to cover, and therefore it gets kind of a little bit of a quicker video here, which is kind of nice and easier on me and anybody really, just to follow where this campaign is going and figure out where the Kickstarter's at and where it's headed. So that's where it's headed. We're going to finalize the bounty hunter. We're going to get a convict 3D render, and we're going to finalize the CEO, agent, lawyer bit. There might be another surprise hidden in there in the last day. Who knows? I'm not really expecting one though, and I would suggest you not either. Okay, but that is it. That's the video. That's the update. If you did enjoy this or found it helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. Let me know in the comments below any other Kickstarters you might be interested in. The next one I will be covering is the Batman one, which comes out February 27th, unless I misspoke or they changed it. That being said, I'm always open to perhaps cover more, though this takes a lot of effort to write a script and do the research and compile what I have covered and what I haven't covered and what's useful and what's not. And so I can't do this on every Kickstarter out there because there's a ton, which just means it's an awesome time to be a board gamer right now. So it's a good problem to have. That being said, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.